Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the Pro 1 Performance triple trees I put on my motorcycle. And I'd just like to give a rundown of some of the good, some of the bad, and what I think of them. The reason I liked these is that they have 3-bolt for the lower tree, and they have 2-bolt connection for the upper tree. So just a lot stronger. They're also thicker, and they're billet and not cast, like the stock ones I believe are cast. So they're a really strong component. And I just want to discuss some of the things that happened installing these. So when I first got them in, super excited, put everything together, and realized there were some issues. So on the Sportsters, you have a gap, or you need a gap right down here so that the steering neck doesn't run into the triple tree. On a Dyna, the neck bearings, so there's a bearing right here and on top that you basically squeeze together, and that's what allows your steering to turn. They sit closer to the edge of the frame, to the neck. So let me show you that in a second here. So on a Dyna, there is less space between the bearing, which sits in here, and your triple tree on both the top and bottom. But what happens on a Sportster is your triple tree, if you just install these as is, will actually hit the steering neck, and then you can't turn the bars. So what I had to do is I specifically bought these machine bushings from Lowe's. Probably get them elsewhere too. But you need 18 gauge and 14 gauge, and these are the size 1 by 1.5. And what that does is it allows you to get the proper height spacer you need. So stock, there's an 1/8 inch basically protrusion on the triple tree. And I will show you, come on, whoops. Oh, okay, I keep going. So that's the bushing on the bearing. You can see that it fits perfectly. And then, yeah, so the protrusion that's missing on the triple trees is right there on the stock trees. So basically you just drop 114 and 118 gauge on the bottom tree, and then you put one on the top below the top tree, and then that gives you the space that you need to actually let your steering work. And I've ridden the bike like this. It works totally fine. So I would say mission success. It's not enough of a gap to cause any issues as far as like this shaft's length or anything. I highly doubt it'll be a problem. So it worked out to be a really good workable solution for me. I'd called the company and they were super cool about it. But basically these were designed around the Dyna, which is a little bit different dimensions. So anyway, I got them to work, which was awesome. They fit good now that I tweaked them a little bit. They look super nice in my opinion. The only other thing was, if you'll notice, it's kind of hard to see, but the brake line doesn't have a mount on the tree. So I was worried about vibration. All I did was I zip tied it to the wire harness. I think it'll be good enough, honestly. I'm not too worried about it. If it's an issue, I'll have to drill a hole and put a bolt in there or do different brake lines. But the really cool thing too is all your wires can actually run through the tree and behind your headlight. So it keeps it nice and clean, cleans up the front end a little bit. Obviously, if you did different clutch cable and throttle cables and stuff, you could clean up the front end further, but I'm personally not too worried about it. I just want it to function well. And then the only other thing was, now that I'm thinking about it, you'll notice these chrome plugs here. So Dynas have bar bushings to reduce vibration. Sportsters don't. So I wound up buying these solid bushings. They bolted right on, drop right into place, could bolt them right on, no big deal. So just a small thing I had to do. It raised the bar up 1/2 inch or whatever, no big deal. And then off the topic of the front forks, I did this ram mount. So basically all I did here was just a regular ram mount. They're, female to female coupler, and then that's just a male handlebar adapter. Super simple. Ran a USB cable, and what I did was I ran it through, let's see if I can tilt the bike up. Okay, perfect. I ran it through the handlebar, kind of where all the handlebar controls and stuff go. So it's tucked in this loom of wires, hiding in here somewhere. Yeah, it's right where my fingers are. So you can't even see it, which is awesome. And then it goes under the tank, all the way to the back seat, and it plugs in down here. And you can see the connector right there. And then that hooks into a battery tender style plug, which you can see right here. So it's battery tender end to USB. And then that I have the tender actually plugged in now, but of course I would unplug it and swap them. So then that way you can get power to your USB. And it's just a nice simple way to do it without having to tap into fuses and all that kind of jazz. So far it works out really good. And I'm really happy with it. The other thing I did, I just added this bag. It's a Burley brand, just a little bag for all my odds and ends. I had mentioned this in the last video a little bit, but just to give you more detail, this is also a tank bag. So you can take this off. There's a little wings, and you can plop it on your tank. And also, it has just this part that you can throw your phone in, and then plop that on your tank too. So if you didn't want to run a handlebar mount or something, which I like the handlebar mount, so I'm not going to use this, but cool that they have the feature. And then you can also mount this under a seat, so that's really cool. But when you step back, I really like the way, I get a little bit of storage and the bike still looks super nice. I could ditch the sissy bar, put that on the seat, and the bike would probably look even better. I just like the sissy bar because I'll throw like a backpack on there and strap it for going to work and stuff like that. So it's worth the looks sacrifice to me. Down the road, I'm going to do black wheels, get them powder coated or buy new wheels. And then I'll probably do fancy looking upgraded rotors and calipers. I think it's worth mentioning too, I also this winter put in cartridge fork kit for the bike. These really improve the handling. I was very impressed. You don't notice it day to day as much, but when you start taking turns hard, it makes a world of difference. And then I've had these for years, but I have the 412 series rear shocks. They're really good as well. I mean, they're cheaper on the cheaper end, but I don't know. I think they perform well. I think on a Harley, and this may be an unpopular opinion, the rear shocks don't really do a whole heck of a lot for the handling. I don't know. Maybe that's not fair to say, but anyway, I think the 412s are plenty for this bike, at least when you're riding solo. So I'm really happy with the suspension setup now. Like I said, deep into the turns, high lean angles. The front end is so much more sorted now with the mono tubes. And then that's about it. 2-in-1 exhaust maybe at some point, but for now it's good the way it is. So I'm gonna ride it like this for this year, I think, and I'll do these mods next year. So anyway, just a little bike update. Everything's still running good. It's only got 45,000 on it. I stopped riding it as much when I stopped making videos. Only put like a couple thousand a year on it, unfortunately. So I didn't add a bunch of miles in the last 5 years or so, but hey, hopefully we can get on it and enjoy it a little bit more this year and stuff. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.